You know, I lived most of my life from being a very young child, kind of knowing that I was queer, knowing that I had a queer identity. Obviously, as a child, I didn't call myself that. I didn't have the language, you know, and I grew up in a the kind of the interesting thing for me is knowing very starkly the difference from a very early age about my sexuality and about my gender. And I think that's because I was very, very clear and knew very early on in terms of my sexual orientation and my desires and how I felt as a queer boy, as a queer man. Always kind of I never really questioned that. It was settled within me. My difficulty, I think, in terms of it taking a long time for me to own my sexuality is because, you know, I was born with a different body, and I was born as a child that people thought was female, you know, because that's what I was assigned at birth. And I lived in my head, you know, for quite a long time, looking like one thing on the outside and feeling like another thing on the inside. So it was, yeah, it's a really difficult thing to try and break down and explain that I always knew that I was queer. You know, I always used to say in my teens and my early 20s, you know, I spent a lot of time, luckily I was from Manchester, so I spent a lot of my youth around the gay village in Manchester and being around, you know, the queer and the gay community.